everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Hiba and I'm a fourth year medical student studying at the University of Manchester. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a breakdown and a bit of a basic guide into how much student loan debt you can expect to graduate a UK medical school with. I'm going to start off by talking a bit about home students first, which will apply to the majority of you, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about EU students and international students as well. Before starting, I just want to say that the values for student loans do change a little bit every year, only very slightly, but the values that I'm mentioning in this video are the most up to date for this year. I just want you to keep that in mind if you are watching this at some point in the future. If all that sounds good to you, then please can I ask that you like this video and also subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out and it allows me to keep creating informative videos. Now let's move on to talking about the first part of this video. So in this first part of the video, I'm going to be breaking down how much student debt you can expect to have if you're going to be paying tuition fee at the rate that is for home students or UK students. So you're typically classified as a home student if you are a UK national, and this means that you get to pay the lowest tuition fee rate out of the three groups of students, so UK, international and EU. That is of course apart from if you are Scottish and applying to a Scottish university, in which case university for you is free. If you're a home student, then no matter which university you apply to in the UK, your tuition fee rate is going to be £9,250 per year for any undergraduate medicine course. Now, most medicine courses in the UK are 5 years long. Some are 6 years long, but the majority of them are 5 years. But the NHS will actually pay for your final year of study. So your total tuition fee that you're going to be paying for your 5 years at medical school is £9,250 multiplied by 4, which comes to £37,000. Now, as I mentioned, some medical school courses in the UK are actually 6 years, and this is because the medical school requires you to intercalate, which means that you're going to be leaving medicine for 1 year and studying another degree for a year, and then you come back to medicine after you finish that degree, you graduate, and then you leave university with 2 degrees. This may be mandatory for your university, or you can actually choose to intercalate on a normal 5-year course as well and optionally increase your medicine training to 6 years long. If you're a home student and your medical course is 6 years long rather than 5 years, you'll still only have to pay £37,000 in tuition fees. This is because the NHS also pays for the 6th year of medical training for anyone who's on a 6-year course and is doing this intercalation. So essentially, whether you're on a 5-year course or a 6-year course, it doesn't matter, you're still only going to be paying tuition fees for 4 years, and that comes to £37,000. So we've established that undertaking a medicine degree as a home student is going to cost you £37,000 in tuition fees. But actually, that is money that you'll never even see. This money gets paid directly to your university, and unless you have a really well-paying job or family support or any other source of income, you're also going to have to take out a maintenance loan to support you with all the other costs that are associated with going to university. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit confusing. The maximum amount of maintenance loan that you can take out depends on 4 things. Firstly, it depends on what your household income is. Secondly, it depends on where you are in the UK. So if you're living inside of London, the maximum you can take out is higher, whereas if you're living outside of London, the maximum amount of maintenance loan you can take out is a little bit lower. Thirdly, it depends on whether you are living at home or whether you are living away from home. And lastly, it depends on personal choice. So even though, for example, you can take out £10,000, you may choose that you don't want to take out that much and you only want to take £8,000, or you only want to take £6,000. You can pause the video right now to just have a look at this up-to-date table that tells you the most recent values for how much you can take out depending on whether you live inside or outside of London, and also whether you live at home or live away from home. The vast majority of you though will be like me, a student who lives outside of London and also away from home, and in that case the maximum maintenance loan you can get is £9,488. Now, just to make it really clear again, the maintenance loan is optional, so you can choose not to take it out at all, or you can request to take out any number between £0 and £9,488. And this number also doesn't have to be the same each year. So if 1 year you just want to take £6,000, that's fine. The next year your maximum is the same, but you can choose to take out £4,000 or £8,000. With that being said though, most people will actually end up taking out the maximum loan, especially if they're moving out of home, and especially if you're on a course like medicine where you don't have as much time to get a job and work for your income. And that's exactly what the maintenance loan is for. It's there to help you cover your expenses, things like rent, groceries, and anything else that you may need. whilst you're at university. So if that is the case for you and you choose to take out the maximum maintenance loan for every year of your study, your maintenance loan debt will come out to £47,440 if you're on a 5-year medicine course, or £56,928 if you take this out every year for 6 years. Remember that although your 5th and 6th years tuition fee is covered by the NHS is not going to pay for your personal expenses, so your maintenance loan still needs to be taken out by student finance. Therefore, as a home student living outside of London who takes out the maximum maintenance loan for 5 years, combined with your tuition fee, you will graduate with £84,440 of student loan debt. This would be £93,928 if you're on a 6-year course and you take out the maximum maintenance loan for every year. So in this part of the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about EU students and international students. So EU students used to be charged at the same tuition fee rate as home students before, of £9,250. But now, since we've left the European Union, EU students are charged at the same rate as international students. If you're an international student, it's really difficult to say how much student loan debt you'll graduate with, if any at all. This is because many of the international students applying to study in the UK will actually already be able to personally fund their tuition fee and living costs. Also, if this isn't the case, many international students will actually be given scholarships from organisations in their country to fund their studies in the UK. If you are an international student and you don't fall into any of these categories and you need to take out a loan to fund your studies in the UK, then the amount that you will need to take and the amount of debt you'll end up with depends on which medical school you choose to apply for. Each medical school in the UK has their own fee rate of how much they charge international students to study at their university, and to find the exact numbers for these and how much it will cost you for each year, you'll have to visit the fee and funding pages for all of the medical schools you're interested in applying to in the UK. However, I'm just going to include some numbers here just to give you a rough idea and illustrate just how different the charges are for international students than they are for home and UK students. So we'll just take Manchester Medical School for example. At Manchester, the tuition fee rate for EU and international students is £27,000 for the first 2 years, so that's years 1 and 2, and then it's £46,000 for clinical years, so that's years 3, 4 and 5. So just comparing that to the tuition fee rate that is charged for UK students, the total for your 5 years of tuition fee as an EU or international student at Manchester is going to be £192,000 compared to the £37,000 that is going to be charged for a UK medical student. So essentially it's costing you 5 times more than it would if you were a UK or home student. Of course, again, this is just a tuition fee and you're also going to have to sort out funding for your living costs in the UK. In terms of the maintenance loan, I'm not entirely sure how much maintenance loan you can get as an international student because it will depend on which country you're coming from and which organisation is lending you the money. As an international student studying in the UK, unfortunately you aren't actually able to access the loans that home students have access to through student finance. The access that EU students have to student finance has also reduced now that we're out of the European Union, but I think in some cases they will consider giving out loans to EU students. So if you are a student from an EU country, it's really worth getting in touch with Student Finance England and finding out what funding is available for you in terms of maintenance and tuition fees. I hope I was able to give you a rough idea of how much student loan debt you'll graduate medical school with if you choose to go to medical school in the UK, and if, like me and the majority of students, you require a loan to actually be able to go to university. As I mentioned several times in the video, it is quite difficult to give you an exact number because it really does vary from each individual and depending on each person's individual circumstances and how much you may or may not need to borrow. But the purpose of this video was just to give you a rough idea and also illustrate the difference between going to medical school here as a UK student and going to medical school here as an international or EU student. It can be a bit overwhelming at first to hear these numbers, but just do try to remember that hundreds of thousands of other students are also in the same position and also in just as much debt and do also require this much help to get into university. It really is quite normal to have this financial support whilst you're studying and whilst you're not able to focus on making income through a job. It is also paid off really slowly, and hopefully once you're a doctor, these slow repayments won't really be difficult to make. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it or found it helpful, then please do like this video and also consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps me out. If you have any suggestions for anything you want to see, then do let me know in the comments. Likewise, if you have any questions or there's anything you want to talk about, then feel free to leave a comment on this video. I do read all of my comments and I reply to all of them, so that's the quickest way for you to ask me a question. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.